Thank you all so much for coming here this morning. I know it's really early and it is really cold. We've been a little spoiled this winter, I think, and this morning was when I first realized it walking up the Lion Hill and couldn't breathe, so it's a little cold. For those that may not know me, I am Kathy Mullins, and I'm proud to serve as the Vice President of College Advancement and the Executive Director of the GRCC Foundation. Thank you. If you'd like to know more about me, Ellen James is the president of my fan club, so feel free to reach out to her today. It is my pleasure this morning to introduce you all, if you haven't been, into our newly renovated Ford Fieldhouse. It looks beautiful this morning, and thank you so much to our caterers, our creative dining staff this morning. Thank you. Breakfast was wonderful. For those of you that have attended this event in the past, you know that we've kind of bounced around campus and we've outgrew every space that we were in up until this morning. We can remove these curtains and we can invite another 200 friends on Valentine's Day, so make sure that you tell everybody you know that this is the place to be. Don't say Valentine's Day because next year it's Saturday and we won't want to be in here on a Saturday, but invite your friends to join you in your scholarship donor journey. We would love to see more of you. This year, 245 people are in attendance. That's record attendance for us. Before we get started with the program this morning, I would like to recognize some important leaders that are in the room this morning. First of all, I'd like to recognize the Grand Rapids Community College Board of Trustees that are here, those that are present trustee members, and those that are retired. If you could stand and wave, please. The GRCC Foundation has truly had an amazing year this year. With all that has been accomplished, we could not have done that without a dedicated group of community leaders. This morning, it's my pleasure to recognize these awesome community leaders. Would our GRCC Foundation Board of Directors that are here today please stand and wave? Thank you for everything that you do for our students, both our Board of Trustees and our Board of Directors. To all of our guests in the audience, again, thank you for attending our 12th annual Creating Connections Breakfast. Today is the day that we get to show you all how much we love you. And we absolutely do love you. The work that you allow us to do with our students is an amazing work, and our students are so much more successful as a result of your kindness and generosity for those students. I'd also, before we get started with the program, I'd like to welcome or say thank you to our GRCC music students this morning that played. The trio Gio Koza. This morning we had Maylin Wooden, Caitlin David, Maxwell Andres, and their GRCC music professor is Dr. Libor Andres. Thank you all so much. It was beautiful. At GRCC, we are really proud of the alums that live in our community, and we love it when we can feature them at our foundation events. Today is no exception. This morning we are featuring not one, but we're featuring two GRCC, GRJC alums. First, I'd like to introduce a member of the GRJC class of 1987. 87 was a really good year. Michael Herblett. Michael, please stand and give us a wave. Michael recently opened Sweetwater's Coffee and Tea, and he has graciously provided the much-needed caffeine that you have on your table this morning. So thank you, Michael, for that. We appreciate it. The second GRCC alum we are featuring this morning is Donna Owen. Donna owns Decadent Desserts, and she has provided the yummy heart cookie that you have on your table at your place setting today. So please remember to take that cookie with you and think about Donna and Decadent Desserts as you enjoy that cookie. And we're extremely grateful to our alums for their support this morning, and we hope that you support their businesses when you leave here today. This morning, we want to thank our donors for the love and support that you offer our students in the form of the scholarships that they receive. As you'll see and hear, our students rely on your support very much for their academic success. And I know that as you interact with your students and listen to our student speakers this morning, you will agree that we are in the midst of some amazing human beings whose resilience and tenacity are awe-inspiring. That is why those that work at JRCC, we love coming here every day because of the students that you're all sitting with. This breakfast is truly a celebration of the bond between donors and students, and we want to celebrate that bond today. Together, we are all making West Michigan a better place to live and to work, and we are so very glad to have each and every one of you as members of our JRCC family. Now for a couple quick logistics before we jump into the program. We understand that some of the students that are here this morning may need to leave to get to class. We want you to get up and go to class. You will not offend anyone, and you can't use this as an excuse to skip class today. We are very happy to have you here this morning, and we are thankful that you took the time out, but we are also very happy to have you in the classroom. So please feel free to leave whenever you need to. Know that if you need parking passes this morning, students, you can get those at the back of the table where Mary and Art are, and they can help you with that. All right, let's get on with the show. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce you all to the 10th president of Grand Rapids Community College, Dr. Bill Pink.
Thank you, Kathy. Good morning. I am so sorry that these lights are beaming off my head, and I'm hoping you can still see me. Welcome this morning. Good to see everybody, if I could see you. I am honored to say happy Friday, happy Valentine's Day, and happy Creating Connections Breakfast Day. This, to me, is one of the highlights of our year because as we come together in this way, and by the way, being, as Kathy mentioned, the largest Creating Connections breakfast we've had here in our history. We get to celebrate, but also do a little introduction in some cases, because in many cases, the introduction is the fact that our donors being able to be introduced and to meet the students who are able to take advantage of their generous dollars. And so that's one of the things that makes this such a special morning. One thing I want to say before I go on with some remarks, Kathy Mullins, being our Vice President of Advancement and Director of our GRCC Foundation, not only does Kathy do an incredible job with this foundation, she has a staff that is second to none. Rarely, if ever, do you find a community college that has such an active foundation as what you find here at GRCC. There are those across the country that do pretty well and do some things that are getting close to what we do. But never and rarely do you find a foundation at the community college that is so committed, so robust in staff in terms of expertise, but also in terms of a board and a foundation board that is so active in our community, active for this institution, and we at GRCC are grateful for that. Kathy, thank you so much for the great work that you and your staff do. It's hard for me to be in a setting like this, have so many students in the room and not just call you out and say not only congratulations, keep at it, but I always, whenever I see this, I always want to ask our students to have a little special recognition. Friends, you have to understand, when you hear some of the stories, if you talk to some of the students who are at the table, when you hear further in our program, you will quickly find out, and I may be partial, I really don't care, but a GRCC student is different from many other students because our students not only take advantage of an awesome, affordable, high-quality education, But in many cases, our students do so while they're juggling work, while they're juggling one, maybe two jobs, while they're juggling a family, while they're juggling many, many things, yet they come back and they finish. Whatever they came here for, they get it done. Whether they came for a year to get some of those general eds out of the way to go on to the university, whether they come to a workforce program where they're going to become a nurse, going to become a radiology technologist or a culinarian, they get it done. And they have a level of resilience that is unseen. It's why so many of my four-year friends, whether it be Grand Valley, Western Michigan, Ferris State, you name them, they know the value of a GRCC student because they know that our students are resilient and our students, quite frankly, are the best. So if you are a GRCC student, would you stand this morning so we can recognize you, please? Thank you. You may be seated. I look forward one day to being in this room with you and a stage that will be set up right around here, a bit longer than this. We'll all be wearing funny dresses and funny hats. And you'll walk across the stage and I'll be able to shake your hand and congratulate you as a GRCC graduate. I look forward to that day, and I hope you do as well. The final group I want to recognize this morning, a big part of our GRCC family, a part of the family that this institution revolves around, a part of the family that means so much to the students that you just saw standing up, and I see many of them in the room today. If you are a part of the family of faculty and staff of this institution, would you please stand and be recognized? Had someone tell me a story yesterday about one of our staff members, someone out in the community, and this staff member was going after a specific position or recognition, was at this organization, and the person yesterday told me that that organization told them, well, yeah, we were right there ready to accept them in because they come from GRCC and we know the quality of GRCC and the people who work and go to school there. So it was automatic that we accept them. That's because we have a family, a GRCC family that is second to none. Whether you be a faculty, staff, student, board member, administrator, doesn't matter. You're part of the family, and that's why you get it done. I am going way too long. Thank you guys so much for being here this morning. This is a grand morning for us to celebrate and to see each other and to enjoy bacon. Thank you very much.
I already knew he was going to go too long. That's why I sat down. We are blessed to have Dr. Pink as our president, and I would really like us all to give him a round of applause as well. This next segment of the program is one of my personal favorites, as we get the opportunity to highlight a scholarship and, more importantly, the donors that created the scholarship. Today, I am honored to introduce you to Kenyatta and Tracy Brame. Kenyatta is the Executive Vice President of Cascade Engineering. He was elected to our GRCC Board of Trustees in 2016. Tracy, his wife, is an Associate Dean of Grand Rapids Campus for Western Michigan University Cooley Law School. Both hold their JD degrees from the University of Michigan. Kenyatta and Tracy established the Kenyatta and Tracy Brame Scholarship in 2017. The Brame Scholarship awards an annual scholarship to 2 full-time GRCC students, with one of those students being a graduate of Ottawa Hills High School. Kenyatta and Tracy are here today. Well, Kenyatta's here today, sorry. Kenyatta and his daughter are here today. Thank you both for being here. Also, we have with us the scholarship recipients of the Brame Scholarship. Halima Sufi is here today, and Glenn Falk. They're the 2019-20 scholarship recipients. Congratulations, and thank you all for being here. I now ask you to turn your attention to the video screen and hear a little bit more from Tracy and Kenyatta about their scholarship.
It's just inspiring to hear the stories of these students. I've always believed in opportunity, and what you see at this breakfast is that given an opportunity, people can succeed.
I'm an immigrant. I came here like when I was 4, so like 20 years ago. And for high school, I went to Ottaway Hills High School. So that's where I graduated from. I am like the first generation, and like no one in my household went to college. So it's just like, what is college, you know? I mean, I started CC, and like it's been like the best decision that I've ever made, because it's like I was able to like expose myself to new people, new opportunities.
I always did music classes from the time I was 8 years old at West Michigan Homeschool Fine Arts Association. And then pretty much from my freshman year on, I knew I wanted to do music. And I thought this would be a good place to try it out. I absolutely love it. It's not like going to school every day. I like music in that it's creative and it's also scientific. So it's a puzzle and a fun project.
I went to University of Michigan, and were it not for the scholarship that I received that covered my tuition, I don't know that my family could have afforded to send me.
I got a full ride to go to undergraduate, and it made all the difference in the world. And I did well at Wabash College undergrad, and that got me into Michigan, which got me my first job as a lawyer, which allowed me to be an executive. So those scholarships mean a lot to individuals.
We didn't really have like much, I guess you could say. We didn't really have much. We still don't have much. When I came to CC, I've encountered like people who actually wanted me like to succeed, you know, to do better, and who actually like pushed me. And like a few months later, I got, that's when I was granted the scholarship. It like took like a burden from me, so I think it helped a lot.
Scholarships certainly make a huge difference. It's not just the cost you plan for going in that really gets you. My first semester here, I remember calculating textbooks just as a percentage of what the tuition was going to cost. With my my family situation, income had been quite a bit down when I first started here, and it was a huge help. It really took the doubt away that, you know, finances would be a preventative factor for doing what I love to do.
Both of us are very fortunate, and we're relatively successful, but we both realized we didn't do this by ourselves. And so, in a way, we want to pay that back.
I come here to the community college every now and then. I speak in the business law class, and certainly have relationships with folks here at the college. I try my best to lay a foundation and give opportunities for, you know, for as many people as possible to do that same thing.
I feel like I have improved in my playing, but I feel where my biggest growth has been is in being a well-rounded musician, just grown tremendously.
They brought out like a side of me that I never knew. I think I'll become a leader. Like I aspire to be like a immigration attorney, just because like of what I've experienced and how immigrants are treated.
I'm hoping to transfer to Western Michigan. I have an audition there pretty soon. I'd like to start working in a music teaching job and work on a master's from there. It's really, really encouraging just to know that there are people out there that care enough to, you know, give up their money so that hopefully somebody else can, you know, pursue their dreams and do what they really love to do and explore interests.
I'm capable of so much. I'm still like in the progress of like identifying who I am, and I can't like I'm still a work in progress, but I actually like who I'm becoming. Yeah.
That literally, that I like who I'm becoming, that literally gives me goosebumps. So thank you very much for sharing your stories. And the awesome thing about Kenyatta and Tracy for our students is you heard they recognize that they are who they are today because of scholarships that they received, and now they are paying that forward. So we would encourage you to think about that as you continue in your journey and become the wonderful leaders that you will become, just as you see in Tracy and Kenyatta Brame. So thank you. Now for my other favorite part of this program. it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to our first scholarship recipient speaker this morning, Mr. Dayan Lewis. Dayan is the recipient of the Technology Scholarship, and here today representing that scholarship fund is a donor and our Chief Information Officer, David Anderson. Thank you for being here this morning. Dayan, you want to come on up?
It is pretty bright up here. Good morning, donors, board members, faculty, staff, and students. First, I would like to say, again, I'm the proud recipient of the Technology Scholarship, and I stand before you today to say thank you to you all. On behalf of all the scholarships and the scholarship recipients here this morning, we all say thank you to the donors for all that you've done. These scholarships have made an impact on our journey, and we will be forever grateful. I'd like to take another moment to reintroduce myself. My name is Dayan Lewis, conventionally known as Lou. I'm studying recording technology here at GRCC. I have career goals to become a digital audio specialist, a sound engineer. At a young age, my parents moved from Chicago to Grand Rapids. Shortly after this, they divorced. Okay, I lost my place here. I spent most of my early childhood living with my mom while my dad worked for the U.S. military living overseas. I grew up being the youngest of 3 boys. Needless to say, I developed toughness at a young age, withstanding a lot of brotherly beatdowns. The older I became, the more my brothers became more of mentors. I am the person I am today because of the sacrifices my mother and my brothers made. It was my dad who encouraged me to think about college. I remember him asking me at a young age of 12 what I wanted to be when I grew up. I thought as a snaggletooth preteen, I wanted to be an astronaut since I was so obsessed with football and aliens. I had no idea about the circumstances that life would present itself. My dad is currently the reason that I am here today, in college today. Growing up, we experienced financial hardships, relying on government support and disability checks. Life wasn't always easy for us. In 2016, I graduated from Northview High School with honors. I participated in track, football, and powerlifting. I was also involved with student body, where I ran the student announcements for 3 years. I was the chief officer for the WAVE Club, DYP Club, meaning Diversity Youth Program, which his main focus were to spread diversity throughout my high school. I applied and was accepted to many universities out of state in hopes of getting out of this chilly weather we have. However, shortly after graduation, I found myself in a little bit of legal trouble. Because of this, I decided to stay in Michigan, complete probation, and work to pay my fines. In 2017, I took a leap of faith. I moved to California to follow my dreams of becoming a musician. I was out there for about 3 months, having a time of my life, when I received a call from my girlfriend at the time that she was expecting. A few days later, I got another call. My father had arrived in the ICU. I knew at this time I needed to be back home in Michigan, so I booked my flight as soon as possible. My father passed shortly after I came back from came back from California. At this moment, I decided that I needed to enroll into GRCC. I moved in with my then girlfriend and started college part-time while working full-time so I could pay the bills. The baby was born early December during finals week. I decided to take the winter 2018 semester off in order to fulfill my fatherly duties. I was excited to get back to GRCC after changing diapers for the entire semester. So at that moment, I decided to enroll back as a full-time student, where I made the dean's list. I became a member of the Alpha Beta Omega program that was run by Dr. Andre Fields. This program is now called Brother to Brother and led by Professor Ennis Young. While I was exceeding in school, my personal life was becoming more and more dysfunctional. My then girlfriend and I split up, which left me terrified about becoming a single father. I later found out that child I was calling my son was not my child. I met Professor Young, who is here today. I appreciate you for being here. When Professor Young and I connected, he was able to help inspire me at a time in life when I needed it. He provided me with encouragement and has to this day been a role model to me. My hard work would pay off when I found out that I received a scholarship. This scholarship has been beneficial to me in so many ways. Because of this scholarship, I am able to complete my program this spring. I look forward to the future. I'm grateful for every up and down that life has presented me. I'm proud to say that the time that I have spent in college was at GRCC, and that GRCC will prepare me for the next steps to follow. It is because of your generosity that made these scholarships possible. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank all you donors, and I'm glad to spend Valentine's Day with you.
Remember what I told you earlier about awesome human beings? We just heard from one. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Dan. It is now my honor to introduce our next scholarship recipient speaker, Ms. Brianna Kerfoot. Brianna is the recipient of the Nursing Department Scholarship, where she is pursuing her associate's degree in nursing. Here today, representing that scholarship fund, is Shelley Richter, the director of the nursing programs here at GRCC, and she's also a GRCC Foundation donor. Brianna was also the recipient of the 2019 Outstanding Biology Student of the Year Award, something that will never and never has and never will be said about Kathy Mullins. So congratulations for that. Brianna, if you want to come up.
To be fair, I never thought that I would be outstanding biology student either. So, good morning. I would first like to express what an honor it is to be asked to be one of the student speakers today. My name is Brianna, and please excuse my appearance or any stuttering I may do this morning. I just got off of work and had classes yesterday, so I've been up a little bit. When I was asked to give this speech, I started thinking back on my college journey, and I actually got a little bit sentimental. I graduated from Holland High in 2007, and I started taking classes at GRCC that following fall, taking just my gen eds and working a nighttime job evening job to try to afford school as well. After about 2 years of doing this, I was tired, I lacked direction, and I was failing classes, so I quit. I spent the next 8 years learning and growing and slowly working towards who I am today. I got a job at Rest Haven, working in their assisted living facility in Holland. And during that time, I ended up earning my CNA, working towards my CNA, and I worked in their skilled nursing facility in a dementia unit. So after working in a caregiver role for about 8 years, I was finally sure most days that I wanted to be a nurse. I came back to GRCC needing to retake some of my previously failed classes. I had not been a good student my whole life. I was fighting against a 2.58 GPA upon returning. And that first semester, I was super stressed. I cried almost every day, and I had to fight against bad habits that were 28 years in the making. So that very first day of my anatomy class, that first semester back, I went up to my professor, Dr. Forbes, and I introduced myself. And I was straightforward with him. I told him I had already failed the class once. I had one more chance to do it to be able to get into the nursing program, and I was nervous. And he responded kindly and made me feel comfortable enough to approach him with any questions I had after class, or I spent a lot of time in his office hours as well. I found people that I could study with, and I had heard about this place called the Biology Learning Center at GRCC, and so I made a friend go with me after class to go check it out and ended up spending a lot of hours there studying as well. And I continued to study and use those resources and cry and study some more through each class that I've taken thus far. So if you fast forward to winter 2020, I just started the ADN program here at GRCC with an estimated, thank you, with an estimated graduation date of May 2021. I now work as a tutor at the Biology Learning Center, tutoring in anatomy and physiology and microbiology. It still blows my mind to this day. And while I'm at the Biology Learning Center, I'm also spending time learning from my wonderful boss, Holly Christopher. I spend my time there encouraging every student to believe in their own potential and to make the most out of what the school is offering. On top of school and working as a tutor, I work 2 12-hour night shifts at the hospital, trying to get as much experience as I can in that setting. Living on your own and going to school can be very stressful. I personally work about 30 to 35 hours a week just to pay for rent, utilities, necessities, and tuition. And I know that I'm not alone. There are many students here today that work and go to school and have families that they have to provide and care for. And it is time-consuming and very expensive. Scholarships help make college more affordable. It helps ease the stress of the financial burden side of school and allows us to focus on our classes and our grades and learning. And for me, receiving the nursing scholarship was a huge boost of confidence and financial help. Being chosen for it was validation that people see the hard work that I have put in, and they also believe in my future. So thank you. Thank you for supporting and believing in each scholarship recipient here. It goes far beyond monetary value.
So again, tenacity, awesome human beings, and the understanding that they couldn't achieve what they're achieving if it wasn't for our donors. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for investing in our students, and thank you for investing in GRCC. This is truly a great place to be, and it is because of the faculty members that our students talk about, as well as the students that you're here with today, so thank you. Now, to close the program, it is my honor to introduce you all to the Foundation Board Chairman, Dr. Jim Bezzetta.
Thank you, Kathy. I love this event, and how appropriate to start the Valentine's Day weekend with all the love that we have in this room. I told my table that it felt like a little piece of heaven here. I mean, beautiful music, great food, great company. This has got to be what heaven's kind of like. Donors, thank you, thank you, thank you. You can see today that you've made a big difference in people's lives, and you continue to do so. So please continue. It's such a great thrill, I think, to be a donor, to impact people's lives like you do, and that's what's so great about this breakfast this morning. Students, I always am impressed and touched by your tenacity and your honesty and hard work, and when you succeed, which you will, it's not a question of whether you will or not, you will succeed. It's only a question of time. But when you succeed, remember that there were people in the room today that helped you. So think about giving back, because that's the true gift. It's not those who receive, it's those who are able to give. So again, on behalf of everyone, I want to thank you. This is a terrific event. Next year, I'm sure, will be bigger and better, although this year was pretty good. And drive safely. The event is now closed, and enjoy the camaraderie. Drive safely. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.